Hey, and welcome. My name is Nick Rivera, and I am a player of Alamaze. I also work with Alamaze in helping to um, build educational material or training material and reaching out to people online to really share this fantastic um, genre of gaming. It definitely serves a purpose, and we just love the game around here so much, and there's so much depth that we know you're going to enjoy it. But part of that is making sure that you understand how the game starts. We want to be able to not just the game starts, but how the game is played. It is very intricate. There is some depth to it, so that's the point of these videos. Now, I'm taking the opportunity. I just had a game that started. I'm going to go through my first turn with you from the very beginning and give you a chance to kind of see the thought process that I go through at least when I am starting a new game. Now, what's great about this game is that there are so many different types of strategies that you can use that you're going to develop your own style as a play. I definitely have mine. Other players have theirs. But that's what's fantastic, right? So you can play the game that you want to. All right, let me go ahead and start this. Now, I've already come into the Alamaze login page, and I have gone into the Alamaze online order system. I am going to choose the new game. It's 5360, this current game. I'm going to load it. Now, when I load it, it's going to say no pre-existing orders to load. That's important because that means that I haven't put any orders on there already. So I'm not going to be uh, erasing something that I've already did. And it also tells me, since it's a new game, that I got the right one. Then I'm going to go over to the bottom down here. You see these different tabs. You get second cycle documents. These are older documents from the game before. Third cycle. We are currently in the fourth cycle, but you're going to find dossiers of different types of troops in there. As a matter of fact, I'm going to pull that up because we probably will be using that Companion Brigade dossier in our planning. And then I'm going to go to Kingdom Reports down here on the lower right hand side. Kingdom Reports is the reports that come up for your turn sheet. Now, there's three reports that we're going to have to start with. And usually I just do this. I duplicate it. And this is the information of the game. I just want to go over this really quick since this is a new game, and I'm assuming you're a new player. You probably haven't gone through the first game. I haven't even looked at the map yet, so I'm kind of excited for that. One thing that's very cool is that, seeing how you lay out at first and seeing how that's going to change maybe what you thought you were going to do may be changed by where your population centers start, where your armies start, all that kind of thing. So they can all be changed. So you kind of keep an open mind. But I chose the Dwarves in this game, and I started with them in Nyvaria. We'll show you Nyvaria in a minute. Now, some strengths of the Dwarves. The traits of each of your kingdoms does matter in how you play it. Some kingdoms are stronger at certain things than other kingdoms, and you really want to play to your strengths while protecting your weaknesses. Other players are going to know the general weaknesses and strengths of any particular race. So, but you're going to know theirs too because that information's out there. How you play it, or the orders that you make, or how you decide to play early on makes a huge difference. Are you going to, attack militarily? Are you going to use agents? Are you going to use emissaries? There's just so many different ways to go at it. But let's just talk about the dwarves here for a second. The dwarves are adventurers, which means they get plus 10 points to group strength in unusual sighting encounters. Automatic entry to encounters that require a wizard to cast Light of the Evening Star or Bridge of Mist to access. Plus 10 points to leadership promotion and minus 10% to leader and wizard death in unusual counters. Plus 10 points to agent rescue and emissary escape attempts. Warriors, the soldier portion of a party's strength ratings, are worth 5 or +5 in unusual counters. All right, so what this is basically saying is that you do not need a mage to get into unusual encounters. Now, kingdoms that don't have the adventurer's trait, they're going to be required to use a mage to cast either Evening Star or Bridge of the Mist to get into these encounters. That frees up one of your mages so he doesn't have to go along on patrols to get these. If you do send soldiers with your patrol, they'll get +5% unusual counter. The other thing that is important here is the percentage to leadership promotion. So that means you're gonna raise your level up of your generals faster, which is very important. And you get 10 points to agent rescue and emissary escape attempts. So your agents and your emissaries are good at escaping. They get a bonus toward escaping and rescue missions. So that's one of your strengths. Feudal, the kingdom has more developed social and noble systems, so you're going to get +1 influence, and you're also going to receive an additional baron and an ambassador at your capital. That just means that you have the ability to reach out with your emissaries more. You start off with a stronger emissary corps than most other people. And the +1 influence means more orders that you can send. Heroic, Foreknowledge Kingdom has the short name of one or more artifacts on setup. In our turn sheet, there is going to be a location of, in this case, it's going to be the Axe of Farron. It's going to give us a short name of that, so that way we can decide if we want to go for it right away. Artifacts are simply items that are dropped that give special abilities, strengths to different things. They can give strength to your army. They can give strength to your agents, to your kingdom, your king. There's all kinds of different artifacts, but we're going to have a foreknowledge of at least one, and that's with the Dwarves is going to be the Axe of Farron, which is a combat weapon. Heroic Kingdom starts with an additional leader who is a marshal. Its leaders always advance in rank in unusual encounters when they don't issue the most cautious tactic or tactic 1, and advance at 10 points chance in all battles until reaching marshal rank. Okay, so basically our officers, they level faster, which is great because we really want a warlord. A warlord adds 20% to our army, but it also keeps us from getting ambushed and keeps us from getting disorganized or chaotic when we withdraw. Odds of an agent performing a successful rescue or kidnap is increased by 15 points, and the chance of capture during a mission is reduced by 15 points. So our agents are very good, and as you notice up here as adventurers, they also have a bonus, right? So one of the things, the strengths of our agents is kidnapping and rescue missions. Industrious, +10% food and gold production of all controlled pop centers, increasing food, gold production, or defense at a pop center costs 1,000 less per gold per issuance. The Dwarves are very good at defenses, and they build them up very quickly, making them very difficult to dislodge once they have taken a place. You give them a few turns in a city, and they can shore it up pretty good and make it very difficult for the enemy to try to get into there. Magic resist battle. This is a kingdom is 33% resistant to combat magic effects. I love this. This has worked out in my favor many times, where if it's successful, no damage will be taken. So literally, the enemy's spell is just dispelled, and it does nothing. The Dwarves are the least magical of all the races, and our mages are the most expensive to raise, and they really don't do much other than support the army. But we do have that magic resist, and that works out really well in our favor because a lot of times, like I said, enemy spells just go right off of us. We also have magic resist sleep. Kingdom's 33% resistant to sleep effects. So sleep is used a lot in this game. It's a way to stop an emissary from doing something, to stop an agent, stop a king from doing an action. If you sleep an emissary and then you attempt to kidnap him, you get a bonus to the kidnapping because he slept, makes it easier. So this magic resist sleep is not a small thing. Rich increases starting treasure by 30,000 gold and increases starting capital gold production by 4,000. So every turn I get an extra 4,000 gold because we're rich. We produce gold very quickly. That's the strength of the dwarves. Siege engineering. This I think is probably one of the best and most important of the uh, benefits of the dwarves, and that's siege engineering. Bonus to laying siege. A town can be sieged in two turns instead of three. Just faster. But this is what's really big. Towns and cities attacked, right? By a kingdom with siege engineering have a 10% subtracted from their defenses. So 10% comes off the top of any city that we attack or town that we attack right off the bat. And any war machines that we possess give us a plus 15% to base combat strength and attacks versus the PC. So basically, it allows the dwarves, because they have war machines, and it allows the dwarves to really knock down some very strong defenses. So one of our strengths is to, when attacking towns and castles, where we knock them down very, very quickly. All right, we are immune to fear and chaos. This is also big. If your enemy is able to use fear or chaos on you, forcing your troops to withdraw, and if they have, especially if they have a tactic like flanking, then they are going to cause massive damage to your troops while they withdraw in a very unorganized fashion or panicked. One thing that's great about getting a warlord is a warlord stops that, and he will keep you from being flanked. Flanking is a very dangerous thing if you get caught in that, so always keep that in mind. Terrain adaptness is the mountains. Magical prowess, we are non-magical, tier 7 of 7. We are the least magical of all the races. We do have some spells. Earlier than everybody else, we get shield, valor, strengthen walls, and hidden ore. We can, again, buff our city up to make gold. We can really buff up as defenses. Valor is, makes our troops stay and fight longer instead of running. It makes them more brave. And shield just helps them take less damage. All very important. Barrage tactic is used against cities. This is also a fantastic one. Once you have a catapult that is veteran or higher, this does 150% in both long and short range missile stages. It does massive damage, and a lot of your fights you're going to find with the dwarves never make it past the second stage. So, fight to the last man tactic. It gives a 15% to defense over normal defenses. Your troops will stay and they will fight until 90% of them are wiped out. So use this very sparingly. It can be very powerful. It means you can defend a city against an invading army, and if they use a determined attack, it's going to get bloody. Hopefully you weaken that army enough that they can't take the city. But your troops will literally destroy themselves. So be careful where you want to use that. Evasion in the mountains. If you have a group that's less than 5 brigades, that your troops you can just disappear into the mountains and they can't attack you. You find yourself surrounded by a larger army, you can't win. You can just evade the fight altogether. Now they also have, this is the other part of, as you can see, the dwarves can really pop up defenses. They have the Dwarven ability, which increases the defenses of a given Dwarven-controlled population center by 4,000 at a cost of 10,000 gold. So every turn, you can put on automatic. For the cost of 10,000 gold, you can increase your defenses by 4,000. In addition to other kingdoms increases their defenses. Now, every time another kingdom uses their ability to increase defenses, they have to buy it. It also costs them in their consensus, whereas ours does not. We can build it without losing people in our consensus. When they do that, we receive 1,000 gold every time they issue that order. And if we are in the mountains and we have a group that's larger than 5 brigades, then we can use the command of organized withdrawal. And only a group that uses a determined attack against us will be able to fight us. Otherwise, they're going to back off. But before they even get a chance to fight us, they're going to take significant damage from dwarven traps because we are the masters of the mountains. There are very few that can contest with us in the mountains. Almost impossible to dislodge the dwarves from the mountains. This is our spell list. As you can see, it's not a very big spell list. It is very expensive to level a dwarven mage. So you want to protect your mages. They are very important. A couple things that we're going to be using that's very important to keep track of in this dwarven list is we are going to be using Hidden Ore, which is a level 2 spell, where most people it's like a level 4. We also want to keep an eye on Windstorm. Windstorm is a spell that is going to reduce the defenses or the attack capability of a population center or an enemy army by 50%. It reduces ours too by 12.5%. This allows us to really break down some walls and keep our troops from taking too much damage. It also, because we have a very high damage output in the first 2 rounds, which is the ranged rounds, the long range and the short range, we are taking away our enemy's ability to do as much damage to us as possible in the beginning and minimizing the loss of power that we have against them, because we only have a 12.5 minimum, against our 12.5 reduction against our damage output. So it really helps us out when we cast in our enemies. Our enemies, if you got a good player, he's going to know that. He's going to cast that himself if he has it. But we get it a little bit earlier than other players. This stuff up here, as we get higher, like a level 6 dwarf would cost about 130,000 gold for him to even try to attempt to get a level 6. And there's no guarantee, so he could try to level and fail, and that gold is gone. So dwarves are very difficult to level, especially at the higher levels. They get very expensive. These are the different types of troops that we can recruit in different places. You have the max per group, how many you can have in each one, where they can be recruited. And these are our companions. We can get hill giants, mammoths, wildlings, and war machines. And how many that we can have in each group. We can have the 3 hill giants, 3 mammoths, 10 wildlings, and 5 war machines. Now, the war machines are great for going after population centers because you get that plus 15% per war machine. That is, that has huge bonuses to attack against population centers. So, the bad part about them is that they have literally no defense. So if your army is attacked with war machines, they do get destroyed pretty easy. And okay, so that's it. Let's take a look at the map really quick. Let's see what we got, and you're gonna get my first impressions right along here with me. All right, so we are in Nyvaria. Nyvaria is over here on the far right side, or the eastern shore over here. It is a border. It borders on Stormgate, Pelennor, the Untamed Lands, and the Diamond Coast and Darkover. So far I'm liking what I'm seeing. So let's take a look at what we got here. All right, we have a town on the coast of Pelennor. Now we're probably going to have to abandon that because we're not going to start a fight with Pelennor right off the bat before we have control of any of our regions. But we might get some use out of this for a couple turns, because what I'm seeing here is our capital. Our capital is in a desert, and it's not really a great location for us. We really kind of We prefer to be in the mountains if possible. We have a major city here, NU. We'll be going after that. We have Stormgate right here. And there's Cornucopia right here. You can't see it, but it's always there. It's a village which gives off a lot of food. Uh, we are actually within striking distance very easily of Stormgate and Cornucopia. And Stormgate here gives off a tremendous amount of wealth. It allows access to two seas, which means you can build up to 12 fleets in each of these seas. 12 fleets, each doing merchant trading, is about 30,000 gold. So that's about 60,000 gold that we can set ourselves up per turn. That's just free gold that we definitely want to, be able to take advantage of. And then it's close enough here that we can support both of these. So yeah, we're definitely going to be getting aggressive on that. We're going to want to go for Stormgate. And then we have this village over here. This village happens to be a water village, which is fantastic for us again, because now we can build another set of fleets over here. And then these fleets will trade in this one. So that's another 30,000 gold. So theoretically, once we get our fleets built up, we'll be able to pull in 90,000 gold a turn just from the water if we can take Stormgate. Otherwise, from here to here, we can take 60. So that is definitely very, very cool. We like that. All right, now we have a village way up here. That village is pretty much, that's going to fall to the Diamond Coast, which I believe is the Atlanteans in this particular case. So we don't want to, we're not even going to do anything with that. And as a matter of fact, our agents they're too far away. As a matter of, if I want to get my agent back or my ambassador back, it's too far to move. I could probably move them over here to Ramhorn and then back, or I could just tax this, turn it neutral, and my ambassador will get a free ride back to my capital, which is what I'll probably do. Let's take a look at the turn sheet. This is our turn sheet. This gives us all the information. Now, if I could give one piece of advice to you to start with, is that learn to be very thorough in reading your turn sheets. There's a lot of information on here, and you can get hidden, or you can lose track of things or miss things very easily. So definitely learn to keep good track of that. So, all right. Nobody owns anything right now. Stormgate does start off as hostile, so we go after that. But we go after it militarily, it won't matter. But if we try to use emissaries, we have to deal with that hostility. Hostiles make it more difficult for you to take anything because the people there don't like you. So, your rolls get a lot more difficult. In Nyvaria, we're tolerant. Everybody starts tolerant when they first start in their own region. It's, again, we might want to enamor this turn. We'll see how the gold situation goes, because I already see that there's going to be some gold outlay to start with. These are our armies. We have a PC of 1356. That's versus a PC versus or in terrain 18455. He happens to be in the mountains. That's my first. He has to be in the desert. It's my first Dwarven. And these are the troops that he currently has. He has a marshal and a major general and a captain. My power 1 is in there. All right, and then I got my dwarves, regulars, war machines. They're in my second Dwarven. My second Dwarven is the one that's over here. All right, third Dwarven, I have 1 brigade. In my third Dwarven, my third Dwarven is over here. Now, the reason I'm kind of interested in what I have everywhere is because I know that Stormgate is going to be 30,000 defense, 32, something like that. And if I want to get it as quickly as possible, because if I can get it really very quickly, then being the doors, I can I can defense it up to keep it out of everybody's range. Uh, Make it very difficult, and if I can hold it, then it becomes a super strong place where I can attack from, I can move from, I can use it to make money. It becomes my capital, and it puts me in a very strong position. Now these are the other players. You only see this on the first turn, if it's not a anonymous game. So my neighbors, okay, the Shadowlands of the Necromancer. So they have the Necromancer, which is a mage type kingdom. It's actually kind of a military type mage. The good part about this is that the Necromancer takes a little time to get started. He can be very powerful, but he takes a little time to get started. So I think my town there will be okay for a couple, 2-3 turns. He's not going to have the power to take it. He also won't have the power to challenge me in Stormgate right off the bat. It's going to take him a little while. The other ones I want to worry about is Triumvia. Alright, Triumvia is another sorcerer. So, okay, that's good. So these two are relatively weak militarily. They're not going to be much of a threat if I go after Stormgate right off the bat. They're in no position really to stop me. The Diamond Coast is the Atlanteans. The Diamond Coast is right here. They have no outlet. This sea right here, the Endless Sea, is going to be contention. They are a military kingdom, and they have a real strong navy. So, and he's going to go somewhere, so I might expect to have to fight him at some point if he decides to come south. Dark, but he's no threat towards Stormgate, and the troops that I get there will give me definite advantage. Plus, if I can fight him in the mountains, if he does come down here, he will be going after my village more than likely. And we want to know who's in Darkover. The AN, okay, or the Amazons. All right, so the Amazons are a military kingdom. They have a large region to uncover. They could potentially, because they are military based and they're going to want this food, and maybe they have plans to Stormgate themselves depending on where they start. They're very fast. If I'm going to run into an issue, it's going to be them, I think, at the beginning. And the last one I want to see who's on is the Untamed Lands. The Untamed Lands is the Druid. Okay, so basically I am surrounded. I'm in a good position. I only have two military types here to my north. And I have a shield of mountains in which to fight on. His major city here is mountains. So that gives me an advantage in a fight. You know, if there's going to be a fight, it's going to go north. I have 3 regions. My next neighboring regions are all spellcasters. Spellcasters can get very, very strong later in the game. But we have the advantage of the fact we're not magical, remember? So a lot of their spells and their powerful spells aren't even going to work against us. And they're going to take a little time to build up. So, like the Necromancer will build up quite the army and be able to fight militarily. One of his biggest strengths is fear, but we're also resistant to fear. So we're sitting pretty good against a fight against any of these guys right here. The biggest threats for us are going to be the Atlanteans and the Amazons. Okay. So now let's start taking a look at a strategy. What can we do here? All right. There's a couple different ways. I already kind of see what my strategy is going to be, but let me just kind of walk you through what I'm looking at. I want Stormgate, flat out. I want Stormgate. I want it fast as possible. I need 30,000 PC to get to it. I want Cornucopia, the village, so it's producing me 50,000 gold. I want those before anything else. And this village right here and my city right here give me a prime opportunity to go after them. Plus weaker neighbors that can't possibly get there. Right, the only one that could possibly get there is right here, JQ. We don't have any dragons in the game, so they can't fly. They would have to have ships to get through here, so he'd have to have a PC somewhere along here. If he doesn't, then maybe he's got like one ship. He has to be able to build them, so he's not going to be able to ferry an army across there. The only land bridge is, Oscar, Quebec, right here. This is the only land bridge, and I'm right here. I only have 2 fleets currently in the waves of Azure. So I already have some ships. This town's going to allow me to build some more. So the very first thing I need to do, let me go over here because this is absolutely vital. I have to do this. All right, we're going to go to Kingdom because that's where this command is, and we're going to build 3 fleets. All right, so we're going to go to increase sea power, and we're going to go to the waves of Azure. All right, as you can see, with this drop-down menu has all of the different seas in it. This is the waves of Azure right here. We are going to pay 8,000 gold per fleet. Now, the more gold you pay, the better the quality of your fleet. However, you cannot spend more than 8,000. You cannot spend more than 8,000 a turn until you have a port or you've built a port. I don't have a port yet. So the most I can spend is 8,000 to give me the highest quality fleets, which I currently have. I don't want anybody sinking my fleets and killing my troops. I'm going to build 3 of them. Now it asks me for the PC. You got to have a water-based PC to build fleets. I am going to use this one down here at Papa Romeo, this town that I have. So I put in the PC as Rattlesnake. It's a town. And then when it asks for adjacency, ADJC, it's asking for the location, the nearest water location. And that's the way that it checks to make sure that you're actually by the water. So I am going to go Oscar Sierra. Right. Okay. So now I have 44,000 food left. I got 97,417 gold left. Now the other thing I have to take a look at, and we're going to do a little math here right quick, is where are we as far as what we currently have? So what do we need for more troops, right? So I have 13,563 plus 6095 plus 2461. All right, so I have about 22,000 versus PC right now. I know Stormgate has about over 30,000 defense, like 32,000 defense, right? So defense is, I say 32,000, I think, off the top of my head. All right, I have current strength is 22,119. All right. All right. So we got a bit of a deficiency to make up here. I can't possibly take Stormgate uh, with those numbers yet. Okay. Now that's where this is going to come in handy. Because there's a land bridge here, I can recruit. I think we can be on Stormgate by turn 3 or 4. We can take it. Let's take a look here. We're gonna have to recruit 2 divisions here, right? This turn, and maybe 2 divisions there, this turn. All right. So let's say so 4 more divisions. They'll be wilding, so we'll say at 1,500. You know, so all right, 1,500 times 4 equals 6,000. All right, plus 22,119 equals 28. One of those is going to be a war machine. So if I got 28,000, it gets a 15% bonus. So plus 15% equals 32,366. Okay, we're pretty close there, right? It's almost even. But even's not going to work straight up. It costs me too much. But if I can get Windstorm, I can reduce their damage, which is basically reducing them down to about 25,000 minus Windstorm. 25k. All right, which would put me at 32 versus 25. If I got literally all my troops there, if I just sent all my armies there. All right. Now this turn, I need more ships. I don't have enough ships to move my troops across. That's why I had to automatically build these other ones. Let's take a look at what I can put in. I've got this army in Pelennor. This army contains a general. Now I also get to do my ESOs, so I can add some extra troops that way, or my kingdom customizations. But let's take a look at what I have. A general in my second dwarven. So we go to our setup. We're in Pelennor. We have a population center in Pelennor. You can't recruit companion troops until after turn 4, so those are out of the question at the moment. But we can recruit. Now let's see. Recruit at pop centers. Is that they'll tell you what regions you can recruit these different troops at, right? So, and what you need to be able to recruit them. Now I do believe I can recruit paladins. All right, Pelennor in general, and 1 veteran brigade only permitted for good kingdoms, ancient ones. Okay, so I don't have a veteran brigade there, so paladins aren't recruitable. So, so really the only thing I can recruit is Zamorans, which is fine. They'll get me there. All right. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to go to our military tab. the second Dwarven, which is a brigade, we are going to recruit pop center. You can only recruit 2 troops per pop center at a time. So we are going to recruit Zamorans. And then we have to do it in second order, or an extra order. We have to go to the second Dwarven again, because each order is separate. And we are going to recruit Pop Center, Zamorans, and we're going to hit Verify Order. And as you can see, the food has gone off and the gold has gone off. Zamorans cost 4,000 food and 6,000 gold a piece. And we can have an unlimited amount of them in our group. All right. And there is no errors. So, all right, we got those ones. Now, we still need more troops. And we're going to pick those up by recruiting those in our first army. But our first army is not in Pelennor. It's in Nyvaria. So we want to take a look at what we can recruit in Nyvaria. And they're going to be Nyvarians. All right, so we are going to add 2 Nyvarians to the first Dwarven. Extra order for the first Dwarven. Now each of these takes up an order slot. So we are using a lot of order slots for these. Now another thing that we are going to have to do to make this fight work, we need a P3 mage. Very critical. Because we're going to need that Windstorm to make this work. So what I need to do is, at the beginning of each game, you get your customization, your kingdom customization, right? The kingdom customization allows you to use up to 10 points to make your kingdom, to give it certain benefits or bonuses that help you out. And that you choose based upon your strategic and your choices of what you want to do. So I'm going to go here. I am going to go down to my kingdom customization. You're going to find that on the other tab all the way down to the bottom. And your SEO conditions, we'll work on that a little bit later. But we definitely are going to go here. Now, one of the things that you can do is to raise your P1 to a P2. And the next turn, I will raise him through Research Magic. So that'll be turn 2. Turn 3, he'll be a P3. And we'll have our troops together and across the border. And we should be on Stormgate by turn 4 at the latest. So I want to use one of my things right off the bat, most importantly, is I want my power 1 to a power 2. And I'm going to go ahead and hit that right now. And that's going to cost me 3 points. I have 10 points total. All right. Now, something else I want to really kind of have is I want to raise one of my agents here from a 2 to a 4. 4 allows you to search for population centers. So I want to do that. And that's a 1. So I've got 4 points. Now, I want something that's going to help. Right? We need those troops. We want to make sure we get this. This is very important. If we fail in our attempt to take Stormgate, it's going to hurt us because we're going to be losing a lot of our army. So we don't want to fail. I can get a Kingdom Brigade. It's a green brigade, but it's more troops and it's more strength, and it just kind of covers it. So we're going to take that. All right. And then I am going to also, because something else I really want to be able to do is to get at least one of my troops as a as an elite, so that way after turn 4 I can start recruiting hill giants and mammoths. So I'm gonna go ahead and upgrade one of my kingdom brigades to veterans. Gives me a little bit more power when we attack, and a better chance of getting that elite because it goes from veteran to elite. So I verify orders. That is 10 points, and that's all I'll get. And I verify orders, and all the orders are good. And we're going to go ahead and save that for now. All right. Now, the question is, do we send our second doors, which they're going to be adding? They're going to have, I think we do. We go directly for MQ, cornucopia, this turn. Now, if you take a look at these order numbers, if the order number for recruiting is 560, the movement order for armies marching is 710, I think, 760. Take a look here really second. Land movement, because we're going to be moving over the land, it's 720. So recruiting takes place first, and I am going to have him move to October, Quebec. Then I'm going to have him move to November, Papa. And then I'm going to have him move to Mike, Quebec. So he's in position to take cornucopia next turn, which is a huge boost as far as food goes. It's like 50,000 food a turn. So we really would love to get that. Now, if anybody else is within range, we might see some other armies there. Because it's only 5,000 defense, it's easy to take, and a lot of other guys are going to want that too, particularly the Amazons, if the Amazons are able to get an army across there. So we'll see, and that's a little bit of a risk. If that happens, we won't fight for that because we don't want to waste these troops. When we bring the first army down, we'll deal with that then. What we also need to get this, the third Dwarven over here into our capital, because we're going to take that brigade also. So land movement, 5, 10, 15, and Dwarves move at 5 across the plains. Down here is your terrain movement cost. It tells you how you move. It's actually a little bit past 20, but they have good morale right now, so they should be able to make that journey no problem. So we're going to move our third Dwarvens to LX. And then Lima Whiskey. Lima Victor. And then into our capital, Lima Umbrella. And we'll check, make sure it goes. Okay. One is there, extra order. Our third Dwarven. We are going to transfer our brigade to our first. Now, you have two types of transfers. You can transfer inactive to transfer active. You have transfer pre-movement and transfer post-movement. Now, we want to do this post-movement because he's going to have to move before he gets there. If I wanted to do, pre-movement, they have to be starting on the same spot. Allows you to train things back and forth. You have transfer troops and transfer figures. We're not going to transfer any of the figures at the moment. Let me take a look and see if I have a add up there or something. I might transfer him, but okay, we're going to transfer these troops here. We're going to transfer to the first Dwarven. And we're going to transfer the Dwarves, since that's what the third Dwarven has in it. And we're going to one of regular experience. Or since we're transferring all of them, we can just hit all of them. Otherwise, you can choose the level of experience that you want them to do. Now, something else to remember, that transfers don't take orders. They don't take order slots. So you can do transfers back and forth. They can get quite complicated. Sometimes you got to be very careful. Look at them. Make sure you're you're doing them right. But yeah, they can. You can use as many as you need. All right. My first Dwarven, I am going to have him sit there. This turn, I don't have enough ships to send my troops across. And I need to recruit next turn, maybe again. So I'm going to. I only have two ships. I have one inactive. That means I can send up to 4 troops across. But I also want to be sure that my my P1 stays here for next turn, so that he has to be in a kingdom owned place, to a kingdom owned population center, to research magic. Now the good thing is that that level of magic, he's going to make it automatically. It's just spending the gold. But what I can do, because I do intend to take MQ, and I do have 2 slots, and I have one inactive. The 4th Dwarven is inactive. I can take probably my hill giants and my we'll take my hill giants and one of my veteran brigades, and we will put those into the 4th and have the 4th Dwarven meet up with the 3rd Dwarven, or to meet up with the 2nd Dwarven, and give their strength in case we do run into enemies. We have that extra strength. Okay, well, let's do that, because that's. So what we're going to do is we're going to go extra order to the 1st Dwarven. All right, we are going to make a transfer. Now the 4th Dwarven is inactive, so now we have to transfer pre-move inactive, because we want to do it before movement occurs. We're going to go to the 4th Dwarven, which is inactive. We are going to transfer. We'll just make this simple. We're going to go Dwarves, experience, regular, and quantity is 2 brigades, because I only have 2 ships. And then one other thing I just noticed, we do have an adept in the 3rd Dwarven. We're going to get him into our 1st Dwarven. And by doing that, we're going to go to the 3rd Dwarven. We are going to transfer post move, and we're going to transfer figures. That's how we transfer leaders, wizards, and artifacts. And we're going to transfer them to the 1st Dwarven, and we're going to choose our adept and verify. All right. Good, good. Okay, now we are talking. Now we are talking. All right, and that'll give me a turn, because when I built the fleets, building the fleets are going to happen after the movement. 748, right? I don't have enough. I have to move. Sorry, the 4th now. All right, we're going to land movement. It says inactive, and it's going to give me an error that says that that's inactive. We have to use C movement, because we are going to move over C, which is going to require ships. All right, we're going to go 5, 10, 15, and 20, because movement across all of those is just 5. as long as you have ships. And the dwarves move very fast through the mountains. All right, now I'm going to take this path right here. I happen to know that, this is an unusual encounter of an enigma. I don't need to uncover that. I know there's no population centers there or anything like that. So I want to go 5, 10, 15, and then 20 here. I want to know if the Amazons happen to have a population center right here. By luck. Maybe I'll get lucky and find out if they have one. All right, so sea movement, we're going to... Now, if you cross the sea, you have to use sea movement, even if it's just one block at some point. Lima Tango. Lima Sierra. Lima Romeo. And Mike Quebec. Okay. And no errors. Good. So now when the fourth gets there, we're going to do an extra order, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine I'm going to combine them into the fourth, because I'm going to need this inactive group, to be inactive for me to get my troops across next turn, to get them over here, to get my armies to be able to go across. So extra order, select the fourth Dwarven, inactive, and we want to combine groups. Set order number 744 under the transfers, and we want to combine into the second Dwarves. All right, now understand, if you only have so many slots, you have to be careful of this. You only have so many slots when it comes to leaders and wizards. If you combined two armies together and one of those, you don't have enough slots for all of those adepts or all of those generals, leaders, you will lose them, starting with the lowest going up. So just be careful before doing that. All right, so we verify orders. We have 9 of 14 orders that are used. We have 73,000 gold left. We have 31,000 food left. We do know that we're going to require about 39,000 gold to raise my P4 to a P3. So we have that Windstorm. So we want to keep that in reserve without a doubt. We need to get an agent to level 4, so we're going to train this to an agent to another level higher so that he can start searching for pop centers. We know next turn, because of what we took in our customization, we're going to get a P2 to a P4, so then we'll have 2 agents that we can start going across and searching our regions with. All right, we have... All right, so now the other thing that we can do right now, and I'm toying with, is the High Council. We want to take a look at something here. We want to see what our next month gold production is forecast to be. So we started with 40,000 gold. We have 105,000 gold and 40,000 food. Our military consumption was 0 this turn, because it's the first turn. So we want to, next turn is late summer. We're looking at about 31,000 gold and about 29,000 food. The Endless Sea, Waves of Azure. All right, I think we should build some ships in the Endless Sea, and then get those making us money to start with. So we're going to go back to Kingdom. We're going to increase sea power. In the Endless Sea. Gold 8. Fleets 3. The PC is X-ray Kilo, or Kilo X-ray, sorry. And the adjacent is Kilo Yankee. I am going to start using those. I'm going to put that on automatic. We're going to set up that fleet to start automatically making us money, even though it's only one right now. So the C of the Endless Sea, the PC, of course, again, is Kilo Yankee. The adjacency is Kilo X-ray, yes, Kilo Yankee. And then we're going to choose, we want him to go from Kilo Yankee, because he's got a chance of being intercepted if the Atlanteans were to create and start patrolling in there. But I doubt they'll do that this early. Lima. See, Juliet, Zebra. India, Zebra. All right, and that's going to start making us some gold. It's not going to make us a ton of gold this turn because there's only one. It'll be 4 next turn, and we're going to put that on standing order. All right, so every turn it's going to automatically send those out. We can do the same thing over here, but we're using those, and it'd just be a waste of orders at the moment, because like I said, we're going to use those next turn. All right. Boom, 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 boom. So then, let's go ahead and set our ESO conditions. So we can go through that together. So these are setting out what our objectives are for turn 10. And if we meet those objectives by turn 10, then, you know what? No, we're not going to set those ESO conditions. No. Okay, we have, how many orders left? We have 2. We are going to do a political move. We are sending our count with emissary to NU. Our Duke and our Count are both going to NU. All right, because we're going to be using emissaries to take our region. You know, because our armies are going to be tied up, and even when they take Stormgate, we're going to have to defend Stormgate against all comers. You know, so our army is going to be tied up there, and we're going to use our agents to uncover it, and our agents to uncover it, and our emissaries to take it. We will also be destroying any unwanted towns, because to protect your region is about controlling the most consensus in that region, the most people. And one of the ways to do that is to destroy towns that enemies can use by taking with emissaries that you can't defend, and then they can use that consensus to help, you know, flip the region against you. The negative of that, of course, is whenever you destroy one, which you have to use your armies to do, it lowers your regional reaction. So better to deal with that early on than later. And what we're going to do is we're just going to go around. We're going to take all the villages and towns that we can with our emissaries that we need, the ones that we actually want to keep. And if that gives us control of our region, then we'll take our army and destroy the ones that we don't want, so that our enemies can't, you know, take them and use them against us, get consensus. As we're building our defenses and are building our strengths in these particular ones, like this, I'm not going to keep this as my capital. There's not really much chance of that. My capital is going to become Stormgate, or it's going to become Bronze Canyon right here. And as I start to build these up, the consensus will go up too, which means a capital can't be attacked politically, and a city can be attacked politically up until you have a grand castle on it, so a great castle on it, and then it can't be attacked politically anymore. So we don't want to have to build up too many places and have to control too many PCs. The fewer PCs that we have to control to maintain consensus, the easier it is. We are going to keep the villages because the villages provide food, and they have it literally be very difficult for our enemies to get consensus by taking villages. They can hurt our food supply, but they're not going to take us out that way. Especially we have built up consensus in these major cities, these major locations, in anything of time. I probably will, even though the city that is my capital is in a location that I really don't like, and I just prefer to get rid of it. It does provide an extra 6,000 gold because it was my capital to start with, so we will, consider that. Also, towns and cities really cut down on your food supply. So by getting rid of the towns that are unnecessary, you can help your food supply out too. But they do provide a lot of gold, so that hurts your gold. So anyway, that's my turn one. That's my thinking. We're going to see how my strategies work. If they're going to be, as the old war adage goes, right? Plans are great until the first bullet's shot. And we'll see what my opponents are going to do. Like I said, they're all living, breathing beings. Their maps are going to turn out to be something different. It's going to dictate their their abilities. Who knows? Maybe I get invaded turn one by the Atlanteans or the Amazons, or maybe the Druid. I really doubt that, since they're a caster race. But I mean, typically most people are trying to get control of the region, but not always. So we'll see what happens. All right, and I will be making these videos, especially for the first few turns. Just so that people can kind of learn how the thinking goes and strategy. They get kind of long, but if you're a new player and you're coming in, you can see how the strategy kind of works, how the thinking works, and I hope they help you out. In game, I'm Strillian. Out of the game, my name is Nick and Rivera, and I am a player of Alamaze, and I love the game and its depth and and its complexities. All right, thank you so much. Oh wait, just to be quick, we're gonna hit save orders, very quick. Go to summary. Summary allows us to look over our orders really quick. You'll learn to read these as you go on. These are our order numbers, and this is the order in which they're executed throughout the game. 993, those were our custom, and they're going to be very last. All right, so that's why we couldn't do this. And also building our fleets. These are building our fleet, 748, 748. That's why we couldn't move our armies this turn, because the fleets won't be available until after movement. But I'll have 5 fleets, and I will have +2, +3, because I'm going to get a Dwarven veteran. I moved 2 of these, so I'll have about 5 brigades. So I'll be able to do it in one turn and get my army over there. Otherwise, what I can do, as long as I have an inactive group, I can split the groups into... I can split the army into 2 groups, one active, one inactive, move them both. The ships get used at separate times because each one moves separately as long as they land on the land. And then have them recombined on the other side. That's just something that you can do. But I couldn't do it with 2 ships. I got too much. But I can do it with, 5 ships total. So, all right, signing off. Looking forward to seeing the next one, and looking forward to seeing you in the game. All right. like I said, if you're a gamer, you love gaming, the complexities of it, and man, I'll tell you what, this is the place to be right here. This game offers stuff that no other game offers. So, all right, we'll see you inside of Alamaze. Strillian signing off.